You've tried AI, but it just doesn't seem that good. You've been an engineer for a while. You're in the middle of your career, and have become an expert on the systems you work on. AI keeps making these stupid mistakes and slowing you down. Why is everyone so excited about how amazing coding agents are and how much they're doing? Are they just dumb? Unfortunately for you, no. What has really happened is that you've ended up in a trap that's closing in, and maybe you don't know it yet. Hi, I'm Garrett. I'm a staff software engineer at Google, using LLMs both as coding agents and in the features I build. I've worked on back-end pipelines, front-end features, embedded systems, desktop and web UIs, and open source client libraries. I've worked on prototypes, rolled out new systems, and maintained 15-year-old legacy systems. In this video, I'm going to explain why mid-career engineers are uniquely disadvantaged at this moment, and what you can do realistically if you want to stay employed as AI takes people's jobs. New engineers have the most to learn. Everything is new to them. As engineers gain experience, they gain increasing knowledge of the systems they work on and become increasingly specialized. Some engineers continue the route of specialization and become very deep experts. Others take a different route, working across increasingly larger systems and across more problem domains, and level up in the technical hierarchy, achieving titles like staff software engineer, principal, or distinguished engineer. A study in early 2025 by Meter, Model Evaluation and Threat Research, found that on tasks where developers already had deep expertise, they were more likely to be slowed down instead of sped up by AI, because they had to babysit and correct the AI when it made subtle errors. And that might be what you've personally experienced. However, the researchers also found that the opposite happens for developers in unfamiliar code bases. It provides a substantial speedup. What this means is that new engineers and up-leveled engineers benefit, while mid-career engineers suffer. They are caught in the middle, unable to take advantage of the benefits of AI, while every day, the junior and up-leveled engineers announce the amazing new things they are accomplishing with it. But the difference between these groups doesn't stop there. These different career stages have different levels of freedom to experiment and learn. For junior engineers, companies expect them to have a ramping up process, which means they have time to try out different technologies and develop skills in different domains. Up-leveled engineers are given a lot of leeway in what they spend their time on, since their role is forward-thinking and broad, thus allowing them to experiment with a wide array of new technologies. In contrast, expectations for mid-career engineers circle around how much they can deliver based on their expertise. Any experimentation reduces the output they're measured on, essentially trapping them in place. Even if, theoretically, a mid-career engineer wanted to shift their focus, they have to fight their own very real human tendency to get stuck in the sunk cost fallacy. They've sunk a lot of time in building up their expertise. Abandoning ship to work on something else feels like giving up a lot, like all of that expertise is almost wasted. Now you are at a crossroads. Do you invest even more into your expertise, betting on successfully building a moat that AI won't be able to cross? Or do you pivot, leave behind your investment, and jump onto something that feels like a bubble and just isn't that impressive to you? On the face of it, the question begs you to double down. So let's take a step back and look at the moats in the past 5 years. So 2021. In this year, AI could only write toy snippets. It made autocomplete a little better, and maybe helped with bootstrapping. GitHub did an analysis in 2021 and found that GitHub Copilot could only correctly fill in Python function bodies 57% of the time after 10 tries. It seemed pretty likely that AI wouldn't be able to cross the moat of producing actually working code. If you thought working code was the moat, that was crossed in 2023. And this year, GPT-4 achieved a new record. It could write a correct function on the first try 85% of the time. However, AI couldn't make edits across files, so at that point, some people thought that AI couldn't cross this new moat. Enter 2024. In this year, both Cursor and GitHub Copilot launched multi-file editing features, hopping right over the moat. But coding agents didn't really have any independence yet. They couldn't be given a task like a bug and come back with a successful working solution. At that point, the detractors claimed that there was a moat around meaningful independent contribution. Then in 2025, AI agents burst over that moat. Copilot gained the ability to be assigned a bug, work on it, and come back with a working pull request. Andrej Karpathy invented the term vibe coding, the creation of working software just by giving natural language requests to a coding agent. The prior year, that ability was unthinkable, but suddenly the world shifted to recognizing it was actually possible, and moved on to making vibe coding the brunt of jokes. At the end of the year, agents were successfully completing small-scale tasks at high rates. As a consequence, the skeptics declared a new moat. AI agents couldn't handle large code bases like the ones with 100,000 lines or more, and they couldn't handle tasks taking the better part of an hour. So at this point, we're just a couple months into the year of 2026. Do you really want to bet that AI agents won't leap over the moat of large code bases? Really? Look, I understand the hesitation. I have been one of those skeptics. Every year, I keep thinking that LLMs may have hit a wall. Given that they are just next token predictors, LLMs really have no business being as good as they are. Then they burst right on through it. Every single year. It's time to recognize that they aren't stopping. This may seem scary, but it's not the end of the story. Maybe at this point you're open to pivoting. So how do you make yourself valuable enough to still be employed when AI crosses the moat of large code bases? You have to move up to a higher level of abstraction. Just like the industry had to move from punch cards to assembly to high-level code, now we have to move on to interacting with AI agents. Code is now low level. Working with agents is the new high-level language. Learning this new high-level language is more challenging than the old deterministic high-level languages. Prompting strategies that get optimal performance in 1 year get trampled by new strategies the next year. The industry produces a constant flood of new models, new capabilities, just too much to take in. How do we surf this wave instead of drowning? I think the answer is to find differentiators. We shouldn't try to absorb everything because our brains really can't handle it. But humans still have one key differentiator: mental simulation. LLMs really can't do this kind of reasoning. They're stuck at the level of patterns and can't analyze complex causality. The human ability to develop mental models of the world is what enables us to reason about complex architectures, and it's why humans are needed to keep AI agents on the rails. The importance of mental simulation applies to the management of agents themselves. You have to be aware of the scale of your data and what LLMs can manage in their own context. You have to consider how data should be pre-digested so that agents won't get overwhelmed. You have to think about how the information is plumbed and transported around so that the system works. Know the strengths and weaknesses. Develop the ability to predict how the system will react to novel inputs. That will set you apart, not only from AI agents, but other humans as well. If you're still watching, you might be thinking now, where do I start? I don't want to piece together little bits of knowledge from random tutorials. Well, most people don't, and that's where a structured program can help. I recently started as an instructor at Interview Kickstart in their agentic AI course. This course focuses on how to build, systems thinking, hands-on projects, evaluation, and guardrails, and is taught by Faang instructors and instructors from other companies who shipped real systems. I've already noticed that the students are all driven to learn the material, asking all sorts of hard questions. It's exciting to see this energy, so if you want to check it out, there will be a link in the description. Come meet the team, see the curriculum, decide if it's a fit. I hope you found my video helpful. I did my best to research the facts. If you have any thoughts, corrections, etc., leave a comment. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.